Well, welcome everyone to the Healthy Widow, Healthy Woman podcast. And we have a special guest today, and her name is Sharon Hanby-Robie. Hey,
Hey,
Sharon.
Carolyn.
Well, I'm going to give people a little bit of information just on you. They may not know you. You are a member of the American Society of Interior Designers.
Hmm.
You are a very recognized style maker on QVC. For those of you, you've been featured in House Beautiful, Wall Street Journal, all kinds of magazines for ASID, USA Weekend Home Magazine, Today's Christian Woman, Weekday. Like you're like a household name. I mean, most people know you. I met you. You've also authored a lot of books, but I would say most people kind of know you from being on the Today Show and the HGTV and CBN and the DIY network. And
Yes,
you've been everywhere. Your career has been huge.
I have been blessed abundantly. I could not have imagined the career I've had. It's just been amazing.
And you and I, interestingly, for those of you who don't know, I was an interior designer for 25 years, and I used to have an event called Create the Space You Deserve. And it was sort of my psychological way of coming towards interior design and really talking about the spaces and how they impact us. And what we're going to talk about today is the emotional triggers of color, because I know that you have a YouTube channel, and I reached out to you and said, oh my gosh, what is this new thing you're doing called Safe Space with Sharon? And that one topic was so pivotal because color has impacted not just my life as an interior designer, but what I wear, what I'm wearing. Today I'm in calming colors. On stage,
Right.
I'm usually in certain colors on purpose. You're wearing a very vibrant sort of coral color today with the green background. You and I knew each other during the interior design days, and you came to
Exactly.
Orlando, and we've just stayed in touch all these years and sort of watched each other's careers, evolve over the time. So, tell me a little bit about what this new project is called Safe Space
So
with Sharon.
I know. Well, Carolyn, I've written so many books. I've been in television forever. I've spoken everywhere. But one of
Mhm.
my passions has been and always will be color. And
Yeah.
the reason, and so the YouTube channel is a place where I can expand, because that's where we're writing today. You don't make any money in books, not that that really matters, but it's
Mhm.
really about connecting with people. And this is hopefully a good place where I can do that. I'm one of those weird people who happen to have an extra cone in her eye, so I can conceivably see over a billion colors.
Oh, wow.
Most people can see like a million, but I guess that's why I'm so passionate about it because it so strongly affects me at every level.
Oh, wow. I thought so. If you have an extra cone in your retina, is that?
Yeah, you're a tetrachromat.
Oh, I've never heard of that before.
So instead of having the red, yellow, blue, I have an extra one in there too. So it's just
Wow.
so to recognize from the time I could see that for me, it was this more bigger response to color. And so that's when the whole thing got me interested, and I wanted to understand all of the color theories and chromotherapy, which is for healing, and just all those things. And I just want to continue to share that passion.
I love that. I remember when in the interior design days when they started coming out with the bathtubs that had chroma, uh was it called chroma?
Chromotherapy.
Thank you. Chromotherapy integrated into how you could change the colors in the tub. And of course, it became more commercial, but I remember the days when that was brand new and how exciting it was. And how I would click through the colors and I'd find the one that was most soothing to me. And I think it typically was always like a purple or a pink. Um, it was never like the vibrant yellows or the reds or the blues.
Right.
I never
Not
liked
for the
those.
bath. No, no.
Right.
Well,
And
and
even choosing the colors for Modern Widows Club, the branding, anything that you do when you brand it, and I'll talk about this in the Widow Life article that I'm writing of why we chose the colors we did. And so it'll be fun we're going to pair this up with it because of the tranquilness of the kind of blue, greens, the teals, the yellows represent the joy that we want people to feel in the empowerment that they're feeling, but all strategically chosen.
And do you know why?
No.
Because it's the wavelengths of the colors. And
Okay.
all those calming soft colors have shorter wavelengths. So
Mm.
they are calming, where the stronger colors have stronger effects. So it's about the brain and eye connection with that wavelength and how you perceive color.
I love that. Oh my gosh. I remember when I was in design school, and you probably had this experience too, when you have to start doing this color pairing projects, and some colors make the edges vibrate, or some of them make them almost
That
disappear and bleed into them. And it really opened up my world to how I saw everything. I can look at an exterior house and go, oh, please don't paint it that color. You know,
yeah,
it's almost takes everything I can to go walk up to the potential owners and go, if you went this other way.
yes, exactly. And it's, and then that comes down again to your ability to see color. And
Yeah.
so some people, they need those strong colors because that is their basic range of perception. And
It,
so they don't get the finite, the finesse of those softer colors.
that's right. And I remember there was this people always wanted this gray color. Gray is like all over the place
Yes,
now. And yet in Key West, they would pick a color that had more red tone, a little bit more blue tone in it, and it came out looking light lavender. And
right.
and the people were like, it looks like it's gray on the actual
Sample.
sample. And I'm like, I promise you it is going to look light lavender when you get it on the wall. And it was just it's been always such an interesting experience working with people who can't see color well, but then they have to have a leap of faith and trust in you that it's a big budget item to paint a house.
Yeah.
So it's an important choice. So I didn't know that about you. And I love that you're merging these conversations about design aspects into this new video project on YouTube, Say Space with Sharon, because we all want that. Um, I think I talked to you a little bit about Carol Tuttle and how I changed or how I wore the colors that I wore because I was a peacock, and it was a little bit different than maybe in the days of the past where there were autumn or spring or summer
Right.
or it was really about dressing my energy style. And right now I'm dressing down in energy, but I've got some green, on, and some neutral colors. But how much it impacted how people responded to me when I did
Exactly.
presentations, or depends on what I'm speaking on. Sometimes, like my TEDx, I chose to wear purple, partly because I was passionate, but I was always soft. The pink, in the purple, it wasn't too blue. It was more
Uh-huh.
red, and I chose it like so purposely. There was some yellow in there, and it's so I don't know if other people go to
Understood.
lengths
Right.
to choose
Exactly.
colors to portray a message even.
One of the problems is, especially when it comes to dressing, it's about the trends for too many
Mhm.
people. And the
Oh,
same thing is true with design. And so they don't understand why you shouldn't necessarily do that.
mhm,
Yeah.
right.
So it's so
So
complex.
it is complex. And I love the video that you did about emotional triggers, because I obviously here at Modern Widows Club and on Widow Live, we're constantly talking about ways that we can manage the emotions that feel so overwhelming most of the
Yes.
time. And how can we use color as a healing agent in when we're looking at that? For instance, a lot of the ladies will want to change some of their interiors, and I always encourage that. And what are some of the tips that you have for them to start that process?
Okay, so first of all, you have to, um, I always do this blotch test or a patch test with people on color to see what makes them smile, because
Yeah.
that's going to give you an exact emotional response. So when I start throwing out all these color palettes, I watch their face. It's a yes or a no, and I don't give them time to think because I want an immediate reaction. And I just throw all the yeses in one pile and all the nos in another. And then we come back and we analyze that final pile, which is so much fun because everybody's response is different. And if I'm working with couples or families, then I always say, for whomever the room is most important, that's the person that gets to choose the color. And it's very empowering. But when it comes to healing, there's so much that's involved. So, obviously, first of all, it's your ability to perceive color, but there's
Mhm.
also your history. For example, if when you did something wrong, you were sent to a certain corner or a certain room and it happened to be blue, you may hate blue for the rest of your life. So, there's so much involved in our histories and our traditions that also affect our perception of color and how we respond to it. So I'm going to generalize colors for healing today because it really needs to be individual, but these are the basics. So I'm going to start with a client story. She went through double mastectomy, breast cancer, and she came to me and she said, I just want red sofas. I want red, 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 not pretty, not soft. I want red. And the reason for it for her, and I gave her her red sofas, and her husband said, let her have whatever she wants, was that red is about promoting, first of all, it increases circulation, enhances feelings of passion, courage, vitality, and motivation. And
Mhm.
those were all the things that she absolutely needed at that moment in her life.
Mhm.
And so that became her space, that living space with those two red love seats filled her passion that gave her the response she needed for her healing in that moment.
Oh, wow. So helped balance her.
It did.
Mhm.
Absolutely. If somebody else had come to me and said, red sofas, I don't know how I would have responded, but understanding where she was at that moment in life and knowing that this is what she needed to get to the best place she could be.
It sounded almost primal, like she didn't even have to think about it. It was just a knowing.
Yes.
Mhm.
And that's how it really is, because it's happening between your brain and your eyes and that color and all
Right.
those wavelengths moving through you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that story because it makes sense now that I just bought an orange sofa that sort of looks mid-century modern from Mad Men or something, because orange was the predominant color of my childhood. My mother wore orange lipstick. She wore orange nail polish, which I happen to have in the bathroom right now. She, my late husband had a burnt orange sofa, probably from the 70s when I met him. All really good memories.
That's what it's about. So orange promotes joy, it stimulates our creativity, our enthusiasm, and also our social interactions. So it's
Mm.
a really good color for you and for so many people, but yours is also enhanced by your childhood memories.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's a perfect, literally, it just got delivered last week. And I was starting to think, Modern Widows Club started here in this home. And I wanted to change some things up. And I was like, I want to keep some of the things that people do know. Like there's a beautiful bridge image in the piece of art on canvas that people, when they see that image, they think of Model Widows Club because it's always been there since we started. And it started in my living room. And I was
Right.
thinking about wanting to have some meetings there, inviting some of the local ladies to come. And so it's kind of a newer version of me. And some of these new creative endeavors I'm doing, like writing for Widow Life and writing books and, creating events. It felt like it was time for me to make that investment in my new identity.
And you chose the right color.
I had chosen the right color. That's right. And
So
I've always, like, for me, I've always had dreams with yellow in it, yellow flowers. Jill Scott, Living My Life Like It's Golden is like my favorite song. Yellow was a big, big memory of fields of daffodils that I would just get lost in. My parents had no idea where we were because we lived in the country, and I would spend hours out in these fields of daffodils, coming home with my arms full because they're so easy to pick and they smell so great.
well, yellow is associated with intellect and clarity,
Mm-hmm.
and it also enhances focus and memory while promoting a sense of happiness. So there you go.
That's partly why the secondary color at MWC is that pop of yellow. Occasionally you'll see some orange, but teal is the primary variation, lighter and darker. Reminded me of the ocean. It reminded
I
me of
know, that's me
nature.
too.
Yeah,
Those are my colors. I mean, my home, this is pink flowers up here, and it's all corals and pinks and teals and greens and yellow,
I
because
love.
those are the colors that make me happy. Yeah.
So it's really so in theory, would someone be able to get like a color? Would they be able to do this exercise on their own?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. It's just being willing to go somewhere and find all these different colors and patterns. A good way to do it is go shopping for pillows, decorative pillows,
Uh-huh.
because they're so expressive. So walk through the home stores and just start looking at all these pillows and pick up the ones that make you happy.
Oh, you are so right, because they always have them color coded like that.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's easy.
Well, and then there's, those ladies that are from Nashville called the Color Edit, which I think go a little extreme. Because I don't like it particularly. I do color code my clothing in my closet only because when I mix and match things, it makes it a lot easier.
Makes it easier,
I
right?
don't color code everything in my kitchen or everywhere.
No, no, no. I don't have time for that.
I don't either. Having been a solo parent, really, my whole parenting experience, there was really never time for that. I was lucky to create actual photo albums when we did photo albums, and thank goodness, because they weren't pretty. They weren't scrap, booking. They
Right.
put an image on a page so I can remember what happened 2 years ago.
Exactly. But you have those. And that
Yeah.
was important. And they're still important because those are the memories you share with your children.
Hmm. Even in my daughter was always a fashionista, my firstborn, and I would let her wear whatever she wanted, which didn't necessarily match when you're looking at a color wheel, right?
Right. It
Or
doesn't
pattern.
matter.
And it didn't matter. And as a designer, I was like, she is expressing how she knows how to identify what her feelings are, what she wants to wear. Today, she actually works in fashion and design and designing all kinds of cardigans. And it's the perfect career for her. So,
It is.
in me letting her actually express herself
Express
in
herself.
color
Yes.
and patterns, it gave her an open door to know that that is the future of the choices that she made and eventually ended up being her career. So, a lot of our ladies at MWC, I fell into this pattern. I'll just call it a pattern, because I had to over masculate, as a
Mm-hmm.
feminine woman. I had to survive in a world where I was a solo woman. I fell into the black, gray, navy, white mode, like
Right.
corporate,
Corporate,
you know,
male.
male dominated colors of suits. And I, when I found Carol Tuttle, I said, I don't kind of believe it, because plus I don't want to get rid of all these nice clothes that I've purchased. And so I went to secondhand stores and thrift stores, and I started buying the colors that were in the peacock range just to test it.
Yes.
It was shocking when I wore hot pink with teal. It didn't matter. Any of the colors that were in that range, I could put together and they looked fantastic. Yellow with orange, and it didn't matter. Whatever it is that I put together, it portrayed my real energy. It completely changed my personality. It changed my confidence level.
Of course. And
Changed
that's what
so
it
much.
does.
Yes.
Exactly. People don't realize it. And all of that self perception was now being talked through and out to the world. And they then recognized that you were this confident, creative, amazing woman because you believed in that power yourself now.
Right. Right. Last year, when we had our 10-year anniversary, I didn't know what I wanted to wear, but when I found this suit that was teal pants and top, and also I was teal, floor, floor, top the head,
Yay.
all the way down. And I was just like, I feel so empowered, and not in an arrogant way. I just felt like I accept what I was called to do with Modern Widows Club. It was just an ownership
It
of
was.
who we were, and we were announcing that we are now going to be MWC, Modern Widows Club, and the Movement for Widow Care, and that was the right suit at the time. Every time I put those colors on, I can put yellow underneath it. I can put,
So many colors.
yeah. And it's
Yeah.
just a pink, and it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful suit, but in 10 years ago, I wouldn't have done that. I
You
would have
wouldn't have done
done
it.
safe, navy, cream. And I just went, this is not who I am. I am vibrant. I am creative. I am a feminine woman that has deep essence. And I want that to come out. And that is
Exactly.
now also happening in my interior. Yeah.
Well, when you think about teal, it's really the mix of green and blue,
Yes.
right? So green represents balance and harmony,
Mhm.
especially in healing. It promotes physical and emotional healing, and it helps to relieve stress. So that's the green side of that color. Now, the blue side is known for its calming effects, reducing anxiety, promoting relaxation, and encouraging communication, Carolyn. So
There
you
you
put
go.
those two together, and that's what you've accomplished.
Aw.
Isn't that cool?
And what I think it's so cool, because even before you open your mouth, that is
You're
what
already speaking.
I'm already speaking. That's right, because of the color that I had on. The power of the emotional trigger before we even speak, what the color represents. That's why I wanted to have you come on today, because I think really a lot of this explanation will help our ladies break out of maybe something that they've just got into the habit of doing, and think about, adding that pop of color, and what color is that going to be for you. Go find what
Exactly.
makes you smile now.
That's right. And then start to incorporate it not only in your wardrobe, but everywhere, because your environment is so important,
Mhm.
especially your personal environment, but your
Yes.
work environment too. I walked into an office the other day, and the receptionist had the coolest bouquet of flowers. They were made out of what are the kids' toys? The blocks.
Oh, the Legos.
Legos,
Yeah.
Lego bouquet of flowers.
Yeah.
And those were her happy colors. So you can bring that kind of element into your own workspace and bring that joy to you.
Oh, yes, my firstborn daughter loves Legos and she has those same flowers. I know exactly which one you're talking about. And it's so well, and she created it. She put it together
Yes,
from hand.
exactly. So when you're healing, I think those kind of artistic crafts are so important.
Yeah.
Like start coloring, start painting. I don't want you to be a paint. You don't have to be a painter to paint. Just paint and
Right.
paint. You anybody can do a non an abstract. Anybody can paint an abstract. Do the Legos, do whatever, puzzles, whatever brings those colors into
Yeah.
that moment of your life so you can enjoy that moment and start to be healed by those colors and those vibrations.
Right. Well, I love this conversation. Thank you so much for coming on and just really encouraging our community to start looking at life Technicolor.
Yes, yes, please.
Right. And follow your Safe Space with Sharon on YouTube. I love your videos. I love how emotional and how they make me feel, but especially this one, the emotional triggers was so applicable to, what we talk about. And I will tell you, even when I was on the Oprah show in 2006, they made us wear solid colors like you have on.
Yep.
Asked for vibrant, solid colors. And I truly believe that is because when you span to the it was all about knowledge and it was all about sort of a garden of experience of learning and just humanity in a lot of ways. All those colors were represented. So a lot of times our event this year is Lux Tropical. It's in Florida, our Widows Health and Wellbeing Day, and we're going to ask people to just wear really beautiful, vibrant colors, so that we are literally a garden in the
Fantastic.
space. Yeah.
Well, that's another thing I recommend, especially to people needing healing now. All the gardens are blooming. So go on
Mhm.
the tour, go on all the garden tours. It'll change your life.
I know. Well, thank you so much for being on our podcast, and I hope I have more to share with our listeners in the future, but this has been fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. I love being here.
We love you. All right. Thank you so much for listening to our Healthy Widow, Healthy Woman podcast. Until next time.